Tom assembled. I was the first inaugural salon of these. It's called the Urban Folk Art Salon. Well, that's a good name for it. And I know that, talking to Tom, that he wanted to kind of harken back to the salons in past centuries, you know, way back to France, way back to places where artists got together and shared their art. And so this is a long-standing tradition. And perhaps even Tom might say a few words at some point and tell you, you know, why he created it. But we have a great lineup for you. And my name is Glenn Hornblast, and I think everybody here just about knows me or has seen me sing before. And I've been a songwriter here in Toronto for centuries. Exactly, centuries. Right now, centuries.
You're that old?
That's right. They can't kill me. I keep rising up again. And we're going to have some amazing people here today. Stanley Fefferman is going to be reading. And we discovered, yes, let's hear it for Stanley. And we discovered that we have something in common, to tell you. And after that, we're going to have the wonderful, the beautiful, the amazing Nicole Coward. I said that twice today. I said that to Tom. Nicole Coward, who has really one of the most beautiful voices I've ever heard, and is a great songwriter. And then we're going to have, after that, we're going to have Susan Brown, who's an amazing person. I haven't gotten to hear her poetry or see her art, but she's a wonderful provider of a venue for performers to play. And she has, I played in your backyard, Susan, and I put a video up. There's a video up of me singing Georgia with my band and a pedal steel player in your backyard on your stage. And I went home and I was telling everybody, you won't believe this. This woman has like a really amazing stage in her backyard and presents concerts. So thank you for being here, Susan Brown. And then, and we didn't clap for Nicole Coward. And then after that, I'm going to do 2 songs at the front of every set. And one of our performers wasn't able to make it because she's ill, dealing with a serious pain. And her name is Christine Gades, and she's a lovely woman. So unfortunately, I'm sure that because she couldn't make it tonight, Tom will probably schedule her for a future one. And then after that, we're going to have Donna Langevin. And after that, we're going to have my amazing friend Harpin Lucien. And I think we're going to have a really wonderful show tonight. And we all have, we have to thank Tom Gannon Hamilton for making this happen. And also not to forget the folks here at the library, because not every library has the facilities and is open to presenting something like this. And it's just a wonderful thing. And that's Hoodsey, who's going to be here shortly. She just stepped up for a second. So I'm going to get started, and I'm going to do 2 songs, and I'm going to invite Norm up to play with me. And then I'm going to, for the second song, I'm going to invite Nicole and Norm to come and sing with me. And of course, Tom is going to come with me as well. Come on in, folks. They're streaming in here. Well, I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do, because that would ruin the suspense. Well, I did wear braces. Well, I wore braces, and I think it was the day that I got them on. Do you know how painful it was for little kids to get braces? It was more painful back then, because the braces were kind of medieval. You know, they're huge metal things. And it was so hard to get them. And then my mother, who never took me to movies, this was at night. I was having this. She took me to see Hard Day's Night. It was just magical. I was still high on the gas because this lovely dental assistant there was so sweet. She told me the story of the 3 beers while they gave me the gas. So, and then I was still high on the gas when we went to see Hard Day's Night.
And he still is.
I'm still high. I've never come down. But I would say that you should all go out and rent Hard Day's Night, the DVD, and it comes with all these extras, and you would love. The extras are great. It's about the making. It's all about the actors in it. It's all about the director, Richard Lester, who had directed The Gong Show. So anyway, enough talking because we're in a hurry. So this is a song of mine called Mary. Mary lives in a bus shelter, the corner of Church and Queen. She says in broken English she got nowhere else to be. She's from a town in Germany, she left before the war, and there is only crimes being cruel. Her husband was a tailor, he had to stay behind. He tried to get his parents out, but Mary thinks they died. Now she spends her nights alone, freezing in the cold, and Mary's only cries grown on. Is anybody free? Long as some folks have too much and some don't have anything. Carries her belongings in a broken down shopping cart. Says she ain't been well for a while, she motions to her heart. I offer her a coffee and maybe $1 or $2. She says thank you dear, I don't know what else to do. Long as some folks have too much, some don't have anything. Mary lives in a bus shelter, corner Church and Queen. She says in broken English she got nowhere else to be. 1,000 people pass her by, 1,000 people scorn, and Mary's only cries being born. And Mary's only crime is being born. And Mary's only crime is being born. And now for Unscheduled song. Happy birthday to you. It's to Tom. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tom. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, wow.
That was truly a surprise. Thank you, Nancy.
Wow.
It's very sweet. I'm going to do one more song for you. And I'm going to let Nicole up. So you guys don't have on my good chat. So that was a song that I wrote many years ago, back around the 90s, when it was about this woman who lived in the annex named Mary, and she was always dressed in black. She reminded me of my grandmother. She definitely had an accent, but she came from Poland. Reminded me of my grandmother, whose story who couldn't really talk about the past, and that was the trouble with Mary too. She couldn't talk about the war zone that she'd come from, but she lived on the street for about 20 years and ended up at least in an old folks home for the last couple of years because of the kindness of a few people. And I ended up visiting her there and playing some Christmas songs for her at Christmas. So that was a nice experience. I was able to do that before she passed away. Anyway, this is a song about a love story that takes place in New York City. I like to go to New York City, hang out in Greenwich Village near Washington Square, and you'll hear that in the song. New York City on a rainy night, walking down 8th Avenue. The headlights look like books to me, and it makes me think of you. And I wonder where you are tonight. Are you thinking of me too? You're the only girl I ever loved on 8th Avenue, 8th Avenue. 8th Avenue, 8th Avenue, 8th Avenue. There's a band playing in Washington Square, right across from where we live. We shared a bed in a one-room flat, didn't have enough love to give. And I wonder where you are tonight. Are you thinking of me too? You're the only girl I ever loved on 8th Avenue, 8th Avenue, 8th Avenue, tonight? Are you thinking of me too? You're the only girl I ever loved on 8th Avenue, 8th Avenue, 8th Avenue, 8th Avenue, 8th Avenue, 8th Just like the rehearsal. So how about we call up Stanley Fefferman?
Thank
Give you a brief intro. When I talked to Stanley, I was amazed that we kind of have some shared history, and I never got to go to Naropa Institute, but he did.
Yeah.
And I told him that we were both, I guess, at the same period in our lives back then, around 1970, into Zen and stuff like that. And I knew a teacher named Zolman Schachter who taught at Naropa, and maybe a few other people, actually. I might have had seminars with, as well as Chogyam Trungpa.
Right.
So I'm very pleased to hear your poetry today.
Thank you. Could I get a lift?
Sure.
This or that, or something, just so I can wave my hands around.
For people who don't know it, Naropa as well was the last stand of the beat poets.
Yeah.
And it was where you would see this great passing of the torch from people like Allen Ginsberg to Anne Waldman and
Right.
people who are
Good.
who are still with us today. And bless their hearts.
Yeah.
It's good. We're very pleased to have Stan.
Thank you, Tom, and hello, everybody. I'm happy for this chance to tell you some of my poems, and I hope they make you smile. As for applause, if you feel like it, I would love to hear some at the end of my set. Okay, so this poem I like to open with taking a tip from Linda Stitt, an opener, because it brings us together into the moment. So, this is a theater. Every move is real. The world is watching. We are naked. The darkness is all around. Here in the circle of light, it is rose and gold and blue and alive. My body is warm. My thoughts dissolve easily. I am in love with intelligence. I can wait. My cave is full of butterflies. Thank you. So most of my poems are free verse or sometimes left hand, and they take the form of the moment in which they are composed. However, like my friend Tom, sometimes I like to compose in traditional forms or in almost traditional forms. So, like this sonnet, which is whose 14 lines are shortened just to 4 beats. Yesterday is under snow, white entombs the grass below. The pine-ridged mountain view is lost. I've watched the fragile snowflakes tossed by burdened junipers persist in their approach. The branches twist and take the brunt. The robins hide. Sparrows shiver, we stay inside. The chairs are stiff, the tables bare, the plants assume a formal air. Of course, the sun will shine, we hope, and give our lives a larger scope. Perhaps it will. It might be clever to think the snow will fall forever. Thanks. And now I'm going to tell you 4 haiku, sort of haiku, linked in a chain to make a form sometimes called a renku. Trembling aspen hairs, quick tail of squirrel move in you. A slight wind, red tulips touch, and again touch. This world is big enough to be my lover. She forgets me. Tomorrow again, I'll see her everywhere, playing with distances.
Thank you.
This one is called Mary in White, and this poem, it's in the form of a sestina, which is a kind of complicated form which I couldn't quite get, but I had fun trying. Mary in White. Mary in white stands on the porch with sun on her back, making a brilliance. Her long hair is clean, her arms are moving. She sits on the porch, resting her back, enjoying the brilliance. The wind is clean, Mary's fragrance is moving, the silence is white. She comes back, clothed in brilliance, dressed sheer and clean. Mary's body is moving and slender and white as she steps from the porch. She rises in brilliance, her gestures are clean, her lips barely moving in prayer to white. Mary bends at the porch and gathers up wood. She sweeps the floor clean, the hearth fire is moving. Mary's stockings are white. Through the door to the porch, she brings candles back, looks into the brilliance. Mary is moving, the rain is white. She reaches the porch and a voice calls her back. Her face is a brilliance, the wet earth is clean. So sometimes I like to make a poem about where I am at the moment. This one is, I wrote it in a restaurant called Wrangler 2. It goes like this. I'm eating barbecued ribs for the pleasure of using teeth to rip flesh from bone. The waitress is a honey blonde child who looks perfect in jeans, moves quickly, tells me she loves ribs, snow in the mountains, and brings me lots of coffee. When she reads this, she says, "I'm not a child." Oh, thank you. Okay, so here I'm in a place, and I'm at the start of a writing workshop that I once gave at Glendon College here in Toronto. And this is the beginning of the workshop. You are beautiful, but crumpled. Behind you is window, is wind, rain, and maples. Deep in your eyes is lightning. Your mind is feathers. Tickle me. It is not for me to say more than I am here. And the next are some words I strung together on the spot during the final session of that same workshop, quite a few units of time later. Oh, we have prize winners here. Ah, the air, my tentacles in space. Ah, when you pass like a gorgeous fish, I am the water-driven seaweed singing in praise of us. How fabulous we are. How gorgeous. How jealous I am of us. We may well say we pity the Queen of England. We who can conglomerate, being so full of the vicissitudes of life. Giselle's eyes blazing. Her lips are torrents of candied raspberry. Around her hangs the aroma of peaches. Smells burst from her breasts.
dissolve into the walls. Her hips are not flat. No, rolling they are, rolling soft and fat. Manfred's eyes are brittle, bulletproof limousine. His body moves in moonlight. Menace is his walkway. Oh, look out, he comes. Space trembles, holding its breath so tight. Great boulders teeter on the precipice of his intentions. Ice ages begin to unfold under his feet. Her calls him. He guns. He guns. Winds unpeel his skin. Rock sides are dust on his shoulders. Tigers lurk in his belly, and his balls suck wind in the cavernous night. The family sits on the sofa, on various chairs. On the floor sit the kids. The dishes are still on the table, in the sink, all over the kitchen. Sun shines in, sun shines in. The glass coffee table, the shadow down the basement stairs. In the cellar, dust plays in the sunbeam, plays, hangs, dances. Who knows what dust does? Anyway, dinner is over, everyone is feeling fat and happy and ready to begin to complain. So, the next few are poems that I wrote in different places while looking at a window. So, black spruce sway in the wind. I turn to them for solace because they never complain. White paper consoles me. On its surface, words appear like cricket chirps. When I think of your goodness, I burn and become restless. Meanwhile, what to do? When we are together, there is such a flowing. Then, what to do? I want you to understand that star-crossed lovers are the only kind. Love is out of this world. Four. The beautiful vanishing day with its sunshine and trees, kids, dogs, and nicely dressed people in their clever cars shining in the sun. Babies and birds chirping their preferences. And even if there is no one to tell you what to do with yourself, you could go on with your breathing. Try moving your fingers in a rhythm over something. Invite a peaceful feeling, like a Buddha sitting in stillness, like rock in sand, more so. Longing pours from you like blood. There are moments unseen by you. Startled, you come back to more of the same old thing. We can only, I hope, that when the time comes to blame, that we have someone handy. Try to sleep. It is raining outside. What is thundering? The sounds are of children thumping and of their voices speaking as they do, loud, yelling everything and shrill. It is good to wear yellow in a brightly lit room on Friday at 5, darkening during an autumn thunder shower. So we're almost there. Sometimes a poem comes when I look at something and it looks like something else. We all know that feeling. My last 3 short poems were that kind, and this first one started as a looking out of the window poem, and at the last minute became a looks like something else poem, so here we go. Snow coming in on the east wind covers the ground except in the lie of a hoary ponderosa, where a fat, gray, furry mouse ball of a bird with a rusty half-moon on its back pecks at the gravel, and I'm reminded by a gush of love at my heart, how the changing shapes of earth provoke me to return your constant love. Even as I write, the snow has stopped, and you appear, this time in a boulder shaped like a huge woodchuck, lurching down the hill, and I want to ride you into the valley. I don't know how these things happen, but they do. I have to admit it. So, this one is called Who? It's a Chinese inflection. Who? Chinese Yiddish inflection. Anyways. On the North Valmont Road are 3 trees. Their branches chainsawed down to boughs, down to finger stumps and knuckle bones, resembling 3 of the brutish fists raised against the sky by the son of earth Briareus, 100-handed Titan, buried alive by Zeus, his brother, after the cosmic war. Who manicured those dirty hands to such economy of intent? Who lives humorously in that gray frame house behind them? Poet? Or grease monkey? Or what? And this is the one I'm going out on, so here we go. It's called Devil on My Mind. The foothills of the Rockies near El Dorado Springs project a spur they call the Devil's Thumb, an ode in stone to stubbornness of those who go their own way, like Lucifer, squirted by God into the hot womb of earth and aborted with the Rockies X million years ago, still poking his thumb up victory sign into heaven's eye. I also think that spur of rock is Buddha, whipped into shape by the wind of his own desires, hovering between earth and heaven as a link with the unconquerable vision of the human heart. He sits above the city, among pines, wind swept by the furious bliss of his breathing into attitudes of dancers. He breathes in pollution, the pain of rock stars who murder their wives, of women who want babies and out of doubt abort them. His outbreath fills the valley with wave after wave of warriors dancing over the hills like pines and reposing on the softness of sandstone peaks after their long march through canyons of darkness and light. Thank you.
Stanley, Fefferman. Very nice. Perfect. And our next performer, we'll get right into it. Please welcome Nicole Cowan. She has some CDs for sale. And this one's called Strong Enough for Love. And that title song was written by the amazing Harpin Lucien.
Where is he? There he is. That's Harpin. She made it, there it is.
Well, speaking of the song that Norm wrote, this is it.
Try the other one. It's good.
Only close in this dark hour, see you under the shade. If this praise a quest for power, spill the blood and pass the blade. We shape the world around us. Choose the hope or choose the doubt. Before this wall of darkness into the darkness. My fears have slipped away. We live this life together, the gift of each new day. Feel your arms around me. The sun shines from above. We pass the same one time. We're strong enough for love. You got it, Donna. We're strong enough for love.
We're strong enough for love.
We're strong enough for love. We are strong enough for love.
We are strong enough for love.
We are strong enough for love. We are strong enough for love. We are strong enough for love. We are strong enough for love. We are strong enough for love. We are strong enough. We are strong enough for love.
Yeah, right.
That was great, Tom.
Where'd you get that from? Hey, you're just a fiddle player.
Speaking of writing a song while looking through a window, exactly. I guess, I don't know, maybe something artistic happens when you look through windows. But and it was actually a little bird that was singing at me through a window that inspired this next song. It's called Through My Window. Overcome by fear. So please smile into my that I stick in the middle of the song that's completely out of place. And he got it immediately. What an incredibly talented man.
I need it here today. Can you imagine lying in bed in agony instead of being here?
I do one more song, and I hope you sing along. The words are really important. And they're really easy. They go like this. They go, I love me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
N-A.
Remember if you used that. No, it's NA, not NA.
A? Maybe.
I have to.
Don't need to say it out loud. I say it in the way that I take care of my health. It's very important. In my soul, practice of the faith, and I do all the jobs that make me feel great. It's important too. Right, huh? And I love me. Feels good, really loud. And I love me, but I don't need to say it out loud. It's not something I boast about, what is there? And some say stronger than even anywhere. Yes, the word like I was that made me look like a liar, but you stand before shining bright and brighter. And I love me. Now say it out loud. And I love me. Yes, I love me, but I don't need to say it out loud. Think about it. Songs, and I think it with hopes that people will sing along. Sing along. I love me. Yes, I love me. But I don't need to say it out loud. Yeah, sing aloud. Yes, I love me. But I don't need to say it out loud. Oh, yeah, you do. Say it really loud. Yes, I love me. But I don't need to say it out loud. Love me, and now you said it out loud. I said it.
How about that, Nicole Coward? Next up we have someone that I've known because she hired me to play in her backyard. She's a multi-talented artist. Please welcome Susan Brown.
I'm just a little shorter. That's great, thank you. Yes, sir. I will speak into it. Thank you all for coming this evening. This is a great turnout, and we're all enjoying you being here. I write poems for my friends. I've been doing it for years, and it started as a New Year's card. So you're going to be my friends tonight, hearing New Year's cards from the past. And some of them are in this little book called Wait For It, which is usually what I had to do, wait until December when I couldn't think of anything else, and write something for my friends. So, welcome to my friends. A welcome loss of discrimination. Last week, I lost my glasses. They broke. And I suddenly woke to an increase of insight as I walked through serene, foggy light where hard edges turned soft. Colors tended to blur and blend as solid forms like strong ideas faded. Concrete pavement beneath my feet graded into gray velvet. Tree branches stretched into delicate sketches against a misty heaven. Now the world seems sweeter when I lose focus, peering through air like Monet's watery surface, where haloed lights on buses and Christmas trees spawn galaxies, shimmering magical prayers without sharp resolution. In my sight-challenged mess, there's less contrast, less exclusion, more harmony without discretion. With this second blighted sightedness, my universe includes more unity. So I'm enjoying this temporary sacred blindness at the cost of pristine clarity. Mystic, cripple, or vain, I can comically claim a worldview that includes true honesty through vulgarity. I may never wear my glasses again. A while ago I took a trip to Morocco and had an amazing glass of tea. I don't know if you've ever had Moroccan tea, but you can't see through the glass. It's like a swamp. So, a fleeting taste of tea. Even a little cup of mint tea tastes different after a narrow escape, riding on a contested road in a war zone. The Uzi rifle on the seat beside me burned warnings in my brain of landmines, while my retina's memory reduced a screen of pulsing evening light to a digitized blight of car bombs and broken bodies. Sometimes a little cup of mint tea lends Mediterranean serenity to a world at the brink and bereaved, lost in a search for the Palestinian soul, the Israeli soul, the Iraqi soul, the Somali soul. What can sweeten the bitter pain of leaving belongings, losing families whole, questing for democracy and freedom in vain? Momentarily, a little cup of mint tea will send me back to a sun-splashed Moroccan terrace, where I sat staring at the ghosts of hanging gardens, remnants of Eden. Then I shared the comfort of siesta in a strange place. I drank between the hot, sweet, swampy leaves, captured in a tall glass, while the dregs told my destiny, predicting the disappearance of my friends and all our stories. As life and history slip swiftly past, I try to fix my weary eyes on tender hands caressing a little cup of mint tea. Maybe somewhere in constant bliss, the universal soul, like you and me, presses the tea bowl close, slowly inhales and gently blows, sips, then gazes through the silky, milky, minty steam. Yearning in such a dreamy state of singularity, it too holds its breath in luscious anticipation of an eternal kiss. Sometimes when I ride the subway, I look into the reflection in the glass, especially the new cars that have really big windows. And there's another world beyond that glass. It's kind of the reflection beyond the window. Home free. On the subway, I saw a baby sleepy and swaying in her mother's arms, while the roaring lullaby of the metal wheels accompanied our dash down the tracks. When we entered the tunnel, the young black man, already slumped forward in his narrow seat, lowered his head into his weary hands, then closed his eyes, and in one elegant movement, he left us alone in an intimate public moment. Time in a train where the illusion of sanctuary can emerge from a dream, a warm embrace, or ambient machine noise reminded me of what the newcomer said. It's hard being a refugee. And sadly, I agreed, because some of us have also fled from home and time, love and work, death and need. Sometimes it seems we are forced to put distance between ourselves and our comfort zones, to shed our familiar skins. And as a consequence, we find ourselves on a path that bends, turning slowly. Whoever has lost their country or a mate must yearn to escape, maybe slip away, to exile in a safer place, where hurt cannot betray the heart or the mind. So slowly we turn away from what we know, shunning the past in hindsight. Our flags and anthems billow out behind us as we flee, and thus we migrate to that state of refugee. In our own country, interned in our own country, we hold no more loyalty to the once cherished few who tortured us and left scars, but no shields, that made memories into minefields. Like my immigrant friend has found, we must learn a new language and never look back. We shall never again feel planted in safe native ground. We are home free, with rugged old baggage, chugging along in the trunk. My other challenge in doing poems for my friends at New Year's was to keep them all into one page of 8.5 by 11 paper, so this is why they're all 8.5 by 11. Sometimes we do things that we don't expect to have repercussions. Hero's Highway. One day, a long time ago, I pushed a friend out of danger's way, as I tried to save myself, I guess. And mistakenly, my friend called me hero, as selfishness was proclaimed selfless. So a horrible myth was allowed to grow. There was no courage in my deed, only the need to flee from circumstance, with no hint of arrogance or bravery. How often then is self-preservation won at the cost of truth or fact? We don't dare look back. If we raise the specter of guilt afterward, we wield many decades of unearned praise. Sometimes, I wonder about my place on a hero's highway, next to those who lost more than their grasp of reality, who either followed or led, but ultimately ended up dead, in service to their country. I pushed a friend and she escaped unscathed. They shot at faceless enemies and went early to their graves. No one, I believe, goes fearless to meet their fate, whether it's on the street or on a great battlefield. We must all defy the urge to cringe behind a shield, hiding from life or destiny. Now, I say, daring to live life in its entirety must be the most heroic act. And the valor required to laugh in the face of losing eternity because of a whim of genetic heredity launches us, who see irony, squarely on a hero's track. Whether we use blood, humor, or love to even the score, we might endure as humans, encouraging more to live life as a tribute to all who pushed, shoved, or stumbling blindly moved along this way before. Telling hands. My hand opens, framing fingers splayed, fanning before my face like the morning sun. As I wake, so stressed my hand expanded, wears wrinkled skin, flesh separating from bone. Seen this way, it says stop or 5. Miming ancestors' gestures on ancient caves, evidence of will pressed on stone walls, centuries old intent, now aging spots, not lichen or moss. Speaking of time lost or lent, then my fingers close on themselves. Fist squeezes a memory of punch. Skin stretches youth back over old bones. Now open, now closed, now frail, now strong, becoming now my mother's angry hand, telling fear and vanity, pulling privacy into a hospital blanket, waiting to be clipped, or covering lips to mask a laugh, or gripping a cane, then shielding eyes from shame. Her hands were rubbed rough with life and bent with disappointment, avoiding touch, troubled by others, keeping love and hurt at a distance. Feeling that the extremities fled early, and at the end, holding those strangers' hands, she eluded me. We've all been talking about windows in different ways this evening, I noticed, which was kind of fun. This is about a window that was emptied by an oak tree that was felled by the earth storm, a 150-year-old oak. The window is empty. Following the removal of an old friend, damaged beyond repair, the window is empty, only sky. Now that the oak tree is gone, more than a century of memory, felled by an ice storm that glazed it till it seemed to wear diamond jewelry. It bore its weighty riches until it could hold no more, and then its heart broke. I used to gaze at its branched crown, long limbs, graceful, grown in slow-mo, framing lightning beyond a pane of glass. The tree would move, and wind just magically appeared. So too, when its leaves fluttered and before the sound of drops, I knew the rain had come. The window is empty. Only the sky remains. I have lost my connection to the world outside, nearby and into the future. The oak is gone, and if it had a soul, I thought it would be stronger than time. I was wrong. The comfort of long acquaintance, the loyalty of presence, the shared experience of seasons passing, the familiarity of an old friend. That tree didn't need to speak softly or embrace me. But still, its death seems a tragedy, and I cannot bear to see it cut and dismembered. My window is empty. Only sky, nothing is left to mediate my plight, as my mind leaves earthly paradise to follow the absent oak, to lean out and to reach up for consoling dreams in the night. Okay, I have one to help us get into refreshments because they're coming. And I like coffee and I like tea, obviously. So good morning in review. Good morning, coffee. Hot, thick, and brown, goes down warm and wet, lifts the shades on eyes not yet ready to read or spy weather that freezes the bones. Or it hones ears to hear voices on distant radio microphones. Bitter and sweet, that drink of heat warms my feet and hugs my heart, so I can start over to reclaim my name. It rubs my shoulder and massages my back while I wait for a friend to aim some love at. I hug my mug and hum some jazz. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup.
That was good. Susan Brown. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. And thank you, Lindsay, for allowing us to do this wonderful event here. We're going to take a short 10-minute break. The next one of these will be the last Thursday of next month, last Thursday in May. So look out for that. And the second set here is going to be myself, Donna Langevin, and Harpin and Lucien. So we'll be back in 10 minutes.